welcome to your trades the week ahead, and what a fabulous week it has been. Fabulous Friday closed in around that 59.50 mark and a good 4% gain coming in over the week.
Yeah, and a telling point was that at every level people expected that hey, this would end, and it didn't. Every next day it went up higher on extremely positive market breadth as well. So good going all round. Global market supportive too.
Oh yes, and across the sector move coming in really. So 4% for the Nifty and the Sensex over the week. You have the Bank Nifty scale up 5.7%. Capital goods, Nifty Junior 2.6% move coming in. Oil and gas, metals, IT, healthcare, auto participation coming in across the board. To the Nifty gainers for the week, and that is a long list indeed. So you had IDFC, Sasagoa, ICICI Bank, Asian Paints, JP Associates, Siemens, DLF, HCL Technologies, L&T, Reliance, Wipro, Cipla, as well as TCS making good moves.
The mid-cap end of the market was punctuated by gains to the real estate stocks. So the likes of Anantraj Industries had a fabulous run. But I'm just saying that the entire mid-cap real estate basket had a fantastic week. So be it Anantraj, be it a DB Realty, be it HDIL, may not be in the same vein as an Anantraj, but they had fantastic gains for this week going by. So good show by the entire mid-cap real estate space. Jet Airways, by virtue of what it did on Friday alone, will show as one of the better gainers for the week, but 3.5% essentially by virtue of what the stock did in Friday's session. That aside, a lot of liquid names like Orchid Chemicals and Pharmaceuticals had a splendid week, predominantly on account of the moves that it did on Thursday and Friday. So long and short of it is extremely positive market breadth, good going by the index as well. The question mark really remains whether or not this momentum can continue into next week. And that is what we'll ask our two experts, Dr. C.K. Narayan as well as Sandeep Wagle, to give us a sense of the charts. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining in. It's been a splendid week. Dr. Narayan, the skeptics would argue that the way IT made a pause, the index could pretty much do a pause in next week as well, early Monday or early Tuesday. But just purely looking at the momentum that we've built, do you think we are slated for higher gains sometime early next week or late next week?
I think first off, we should be pretty happy with what we have got. If you look back on last Thursday, post-budget, it seemed like the game was all up and people were shorting like crazy. I think a lot of that spilled over into early part of this week, wherein a lot of people went short, and I think that's really where the momentum came in. It actually carried on till the end of the week. So I would ascribe a substantial part of this, this rise to aggressive shorts getting covered. You had about 30 lakh shares getting added in the Nifty futures, which is not really much. If you consider that you had close to about 300 points on the Nifty. So that's not much of an addition. Most of the action seems to have happened through puts. Because if you see 5,700, 5,800 puts, they have an OI close to about 1 crore of shares. And it's only the 7th of the month, and which is really something extraordinary. Extraordinary in the sense of recent times. You don't see such large OIs. So I don't think most of it is short puts playing for the long side. I think there's a substantial amount of long puts in there as well. So I'm not too sanguine about the trends for the next week. I think we have had a great week. It's been great if you're long, it's been terrible if you're short. But I don't think we are going to see the same sort of pace in the next week. So I would probably trim my exposure in the market and wait on the sidelines and see if this particular rally has more legs. But even otherwise, I would think a pullback to somewhere around 58, 50 is definitely on the cards.
Okay, the week was pretty active when it came to the entire auto space, and you had Bank of America Merrill Lynch downgrading Bajaj Auto as well as M&M. Meantime, they maintained their buy rating on Maruti and buy on Tata Motors as well. Sandeep, how would you approach the auto space now?
Well, the Nifty has given a very, very clear breakout, and Hero MotoCorp, which was looking weak over the last few days, has suddenly turned up. So is Bajaj Auto. So I am definitely positive, but a trading upside is what I would say. I don't want to talk of a big one-way move upside, as Dr. Narayan rightly put it, that we are running into a resistance, and probably a 70-80 point correction on the Nifty is a better level to buy into. And we are looking at 6,000 on the Nifty. So yes, a 4-5-7% downside on a Hero MotoCorp, Bajaj Auto, very much possible.
Okay, how would you approach M6 after the kind of weakness the stock has seen last week?
I think it's got hit on far too much for any bullish kind of comfort in the stock. It's had that great run earlier, but then I think it's lost nearly about 80% of that rise. And these kind of big falls or big slides from a strong run are seldom retraced quickly. I think the low that the stock had made somewhere around the 800, 850, I don't exactly remember the number. I think that is very much under threat, and this is also dragging down financial technology. I think FT being in the futures may fare a little better, but MCX is not really finding suitors. And especially after this big block sale, I don't think there is going to be too much of interest in it. So I would say lay off MCX for the moment. If you are inclined to play this exchange, quasi-exchange kind of stock, then FT might probably give you a better entry point somewhere around these 780 odd levels.
Sandeep, any of these names that interest you for a trade? RCF, Mahindra Holidays, or an AstraZeneca?
I say frankly, no. I don't see any clear pattern emerge in any of them, so I won't be comfortable.
What about you, Dr. Narayan? Maybe a Mahindra Holidays or an RCF?
Well, maybe not an RCF. I think it's a bit of a dog, has always remained a dog. I don't think we should really be taking any interest. I don't know the component of this oversubscription. Maybe LIC came and bailed out or whatever. But still not really something. But Mahindra Holidays, I think, can be a completely different piece of cake. I think there is clear evidence of long-term bottom formation, and there is some interested buying which has actually kept, and you can see some specific accumulation type patterns forming there. So I think with this large sell-off of the OFS, where I'm told that people like Goldman Sachs have come and actually taken position, I think the stock is passing into stronger hands, which would be very good. I see very low risk potential for the downside, and for somebody with, let's say, about a 12 to 18 month kind of perspective, I would say Mahindra Holidays should be a very decent kind of investment with about at least something like 40 to 50% on the upside on the handle.
Jet Airways really pulled up in the last hours of Friday's session and therefore ended with good gains. Sandeep, what about some of these movers, either the real estate pack or a Punj Lloyd or Jet Airways?
Limited trading upside is what I would talk of. Given a choice, I would go with a Jet Airways at a level of 550. I would talk of a target of 585, 590. Nothing beyond that. Can be bought into declines of 540, 545 with a stop loss of 530 and a target of 585, 590.
What about equity ideas? Dr. Narayan, to you first, and you're sticking to a couple of large caps.
Yes, and I'm, in spite of my slight misgivings about the week ahead, I think stock specific we should continue to do well. Mahindra is my first pick, although you did mention CLSA downgrade, etc., but I continue to remain very firmly bullish in the prospects for Mahindra. I think a substantial increase in the OI in the futures as of today would probably help it sustain and go higher at about 905, 906 where it is at. I would suggest buying into it with a stop at about 890, 895 and look for a target somewhere in the zone of about 940 to 945 during the week. Second stock which is pulled back and found support at lower levels, BHEL. I think a clearly defined stop available at about 195 to 198, currently around 205, 207. Recommend a buy. At this level, stop loss somewhere on maybe 200, 202 for the little risk shy people. Looking for a target at about 220 to 225 during the week.
Okay, thanks for that, Dr. Narayan. Sandeep, what about you?
Neeraj, I have a buy in Castrol, a stop loss of 317, target of 360. The second one is a buy in Idea, stop loss of 114, target of 121.